Hello everybody, we are the Geeks and Degenerates. I am Enzo, this is my forever co-host John. And today we are redoing our John Wick 4 video. Hooray! Which I don't mind because I do like this franchise.
Wait, what happened to our first John Wick video?
It got taken down, I don't understand why, but here we are.
You didn't tell me this!
I did! That's why we're doing this again.
I don't remember.
No, well that's a you problem.
I mean, I don't remember doing a John Wick video.
Anyway, this being the fourth John Wick movie, I guess a lot of expectations were high, and we won't go through this chronologically because it is a 3-hour movie. But we'll talk about the highlights, starting with, again, in terms of acting and stunts, Keanu Reeves kills it as John Wick once again, even though this man is a man of little words, but we already know that. And it's him against the table once again, and just him killing everybody, honestly. It's like that's the plot of the movie. Him trying to avenge the death of Sharon and try to reestablish the Continental and earn his freedom from the table. There's your plot.
Yeah, well, we pretty much start with, like, where we left off, where, hey, are you pissed, John? Here's your suit. Alright, let's get you. Like, the first scene is, like, him back in,
The desert?
the desert.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was, like, where, the second one left off. The third one left off. But he's finding that other guy who kind of replaced the other guy. What do you call him?
I don't know.
I'm messing up the hierarchy of, like,
Him who sits above the table.
Yeah. The guy who likes to, like, travel.
Yeah.
But yeah, he finds him and kills him, and a pretty cool, like, him in a horse. Well, like, yeah, there's are in horses, I think, maybe?
Yeah.
I thought there were motorcycles, I forgot which one it was.
I think you're confusing 3 and 4.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But no.
Look, yeah.
The guy tells him you'll never earn your freedom. The only way you'll be free is through death. And he's like, okay. And kills him anyway.
Bam! And you're like, oh, kill me if you'd like. They'll just replace me. I was like, okay. Bang! I was like, that's not the best way to, like, hey, spare me.
Right. And then we get introduced to the Marquis, played by Bill Skarsgård.
Skarsgård.
Yeah. And this guy,
he plays a pretty good
asshole.
rich.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the fact that Bill Skarsgård is branching out aside from just being a horror villain. Like ever since what do you call that movie with Charlize Theron? I forgot. The spy movie?
Atomic Blonde?
Yeah.
Was he there?
Yeah, he is one of the helpers of her.
Ah, gotcha.
Yeah. But yeah, this movie proves how much of a great asshole he can play. And he proves that his character proves that by killing off Sharon, played by the late great Lance Reddick, and you're like, fuck, I like Sharon. Why do you have to start this way? And John Wick trying to hide out from the table, starting with the Continental in Osaka, where we also meet Mr. Nobody. It's a lot of new characters that you fall in love with. Mr. Nobody, Kane, played by Donnie Yen, Koba, played by Hiroyuki Sanada for what, 15 minutes of the movie? 20 minutes?
Hey, those were great 50. One of my favorite actors. God fucking damn it.
Every time.
Like, why you gotta do it?
Every time we're like, oh, he's here. Oh, he's dead. Why?
Yeah. And we also get another amazing actor with Donnie Yen, where he plays a blind assassin. And we're like, okay, he already played another blind guy, but like in Rogue One. But I guess people like that concept, and they're like, let's bring it into John Wick.
We also get Akira, played by Rina Sawayama. And you're like, I like these additions. And the action is the definition of chef's kiss. Like, the way John Wick and the others dispatch fools. And like, did you see the one video of the one guy falling down the escalator in John Wick? You're like, oh, Jesus Christ.
I was like, dude. I really hope you got a raise from that. Like, again, Not again, sorry. Oh, no, yes, again. Uh, sorry. The stunts, when it comes to John Wick, is just superb, as Enzo said.
Yeah.
And I love that scene where the character Akira is up against these huge guys. And you could tell that she can't fight them like how John fights. Like, she can't use brute force. She can't hit as hard. So she just, like, does, like, jujitsu tackles and judo flips. And I was like... And, dude, she's, like, doing, like, groundwork as well. I was like...
Yeah.
Marry me. I mean, But, yeah, the choreography for that one was great. I'm wondering if the actress did the stunts herself. If she did, please let me know in the comments below.
As far as I know, she did.
Okay, that's
like her and Keanu Reeves. She showed that Keanu Reeves that she can go the distance, and he's like, I'm impressed.
Alright. I would love to get a thumbs up from Keanu.
Yeah.
Keanu, if you see the video, just tag us in TikTok and just go. Like that's the enough approval from us for us. But we also like get these really cool, somewhat same bad guys from like this third movie with the Continental like helmet guys.
Yeah.
But this time they're wearing samurai armor. I was like, that shit's sick. And then they have like ninja stars and katanas, and they had like silence weapons. I was like, what kind of Metal Gear concept is this?
Right. You also see how Kane fights. Like, you see Donnie Yen do his Ip Man shit with like the multiple punches to the face.
Yeah, but it's so creative because he's blind. The whole time when I love the direction they took. Yes, we've seen it in Rogue One, but we had the Force bullshit to cover that up. Here, he's just blind. Like, he's putting, like... What was it, like... Doorbells? Like,
yeah.
Automatic doorbells around the kitchen. Just to know where people are at. And he's an effective assassin, we see how. Like, sure, he can't aim, but he sprays and prays on where the general direction is.
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, that fucking works.
I also love the first fight between him and John Wick, where it kind of follows the Akira Kurosawa concept of like just silence and then an explosion.
And then an explosion of like, yeah. I love that shit. Like we also get like that really cool scene where John's just like lying down, and King is just like listening for him.
You dead yet?
How scary
John?
is that?
Fortunately, after John Wick escapes, Kane dispatches Koba, and you're like, why doesn't Hiroyuki Sanada ever survive this shit?
I don't know.
Right?
But we also find out that like Hiroyuki Sanada's character, Koba, Kane, and John were like the trifecta,
Yeah.
the triple threat kind of deal, the big three of the assassin world. What the fuck is that?
That's just construction noise.
Oh, okay. But yeah, they are the big three of the assassin world.
Yeah.
I would love to see a movie where the three of them work together and how effective they are.
Right?
Because one of them already kind of nerfed himself by making himself blind just to, like, keep his daughter safe.
Yeah.
But he's still effective.
Right? Oh, man. And then... I do love the meeting between Mr. Nobody and the Marquis, where he's like asking for money, and the Marquis is like, alright, just stabs him in the hand. He's like, I want to see what kind of man you are. Are you loyal to the table or to yourself? If you just pull out the knife, I know you're loyal to yourself, and I'm not going to deal with you. But if you pull your hand through the knife, I know that you're loyal to the table.
I don't get that concept. I'm like, then you're making him have a harder time to do his job. It's easy. There's a lot of things going on here.
Right.
If you're like a big wig boss and you have assassins and you're watching this video, hi, welcome, subscribe. Don't do that, because they won't be able to do this. It's a concept in the movie, I know, if you are a big wig gangster boss and you want to be cool, don't do that.
Yes, please don't. But no.
Yeah. But I do love the character of Nobody, though. I love his style because I do kind of dress like him when I'm out there. Where he has like the boots, the cargo pants, and he has like this thick denim jacket.
Yeah,
like
jacket.
this workwear.
Yeah.
And he has like a backpack. And he's so useful. Even though he uses like the most impractical gun, he's still useful.
Yeah, that shotgun, you're like, I don't think that's the best weapon, but sure.
No, it wasn't a shotgun. It was a lever action, like...
Right.
Yeah, and I was like...
Hold on,
that
cowboy.
thing takes forever to reload. Yeah. But, okay, he's effective. He's effective. He has a dog. And that's what we wanted to see from John Wick, was like him use a dog. But we never got that.
But yeah, John Wick challenges the Marquis to single combat, which will orient him his freedom. But first, he has to get a seal from, or he has to be represented by a family, and he has to go back to his Russian family. But they don't want to do that because he already got rid of his ticket. So he has to do them a favor, which is kill the guy who killed their former head, who was played by the guy now was played by Scott Adkins.
And I didn't notice until the end credits. I was like, Scott Adkins was in here? Who was he? And he was like the big Russian guy, the kingpin with the humor. And I was like, that was him?
Right?
He did such a good job. I didn't even recognize him. I forgot he played Boyka, that he could do like a Russian accent.
Yeah. It's like, hey, the Baba Yaga. Everyone wants to kill you. Like, I do love the poker scene where it's Mr. Nobody, Kane, and John Wick, and Scott Adkins is just like, alright, guess everybody wants to kill you. Who do you want to kill?
Yeah, right? But the thing is, they're playing poker and Kane's there.
They're like, how do you know what cards you have?
Yeah, right? So I was like, do you have a helper? No, he doesn't. He just like, I guess.
And then he goes after John Wick throws the card to Scott Adkins and he fucks off. Well,
how crazy is that though, where John's just like, slit? And I was like, he did that with a card. What the fuck?
Right? Again, an effective and efficient killer. I like Mr. Nobody's how he kills people with a dog. It's either jugular or nuts. Like, oh fuck.
Nuts. And then you just see him like again just lever actioning. I was like, that shit's so cool. The guy has style too. I really love that workwear outfit that he has. But yeah, John goes ham. Same with Kane. I love how they work together. I love how Kane uses his cane to like feel around for the room for cover. I was like, it's such a that's just an interesting concept again.
I love how even though Scott Adkins' character is such a big guy, the dude still like hits and kicks like a mule. We're like, Jesus Christ.
Because dude, again, I didn't know the Scott Adkins, so I thought he was just this, like, the fat, big boss guy. That, like, oh, we just chase him, and then we kill him, and then the job's done. No, this guy, like, does a roundhouse kick, and I was like, whoa! and then, like, they have that scene where, like, in their, was it rain? Or just, like, water?
Yeah.
Like a waterfall. He was fighting John, and John had like a hard time dealing with him. I was like,
the clothesline he does to John Wick, like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's like watching Tekken and you're playing as Bob, and I was like, that thing's cool.
Yeah. The way, though he does eventually dispatch Scott Adkins is in the most gnarly way possible by just pushing him off the stairs.
He just lands on stairs, and like you just see his like cylindrical head just cave in. I was like, oh.
Oh my god. You see how John like dives for him but he just still protects himself while Scott Adkins just has like a straight fall. You're like, oh Jesus Christ.
Are you okay? I know you're the bad guy, but damn, are you okay?
Again, stunts here are just like they really send off the franchise in an amazing way. With the stunts, with the action, with the acting. You're just like, oh my god.
Yes, I came.
Yes.
I saw. Sorry.
Oh, I forgot to mention in the beginning, Clancy Brown's here. as like
Ah,
a
yeah.
representative of the head of the table, and you're like, I like Clancy Brown in almost anything.
Yeah, same here. But if you think Hiroyuki Sanada had a short screen time, Clancy Brown had an even shorter screen.
Yeah, he just talks here, and you're like, oh, I kind of want to see you kick ass. All right.
Yeah. But it's all good. But John Wick does get his like family back.
Yeah, and then
Plus being able to challenge the Marquis to a duel.
yeah, and the Marquis tells Winston of like, if John Wick loses, you die too, and he's just like, okay, such is life. I do like that phrase of such is life, where you just accept your fate, and you're like, all right, whatever, homie.
Dude, come on, it's just a fancier way of saying it is what it is.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm gonna use that now too. Like, all right, such is life. And he challenges the Marquis, and the Marquis is like, I don't think you'll ever go back to the way things were, because you are a killer, John Wick. So even if you have your freedom, nothing will ever change. And you're like, he's definitely gonna die at the end. I can't wait to see that happen. But like, John Wick decides to make peace, and at this point you're like, is John gonna make it out of this? That's a very big question right now.
Yeah. I are we at that scene where they're at like the
Church.
was it the church?
Church where he's making peace with his wife, Helen.
Ah,
Yeah.
and it says
Yeah.
loving wife, and it pains me because Winston's just like, what would you like on your grave? Loving husband. I was like, I was like, wait, don't do this to me. You're gonna leave the dog.
Right? And then you get this amazing fight scene in Paris where this radio DJ is just like, alright, I guess the bounty's up for Mr. Wick. And John Wick has to fight his way from the Arc de Triomphe to like wherever the church is. Like, the car scene is pretty insane. It feels like a video game where the cars are the mechanic of like, you have to avoid the cars, otherwise you die instantly.
Yeah. By the way, I love John Wick, but I will say they make you feel how exhausted he is.
Yeah.
Like you do feel like, shit, I need a breather. I'm not even the one fighting.
Right?
But yeah, so I do love that scene where he's just like working his way. Like the Marquis kind of knows he will lose this fight if John makes it.
Yeah.
So he kind of threw everything at him the entire way, and they're like, oh, he has to get here before 6, or else the fight's not, the fight won't make it. Sorry, we won't do the duel.
There's one
So he
time
forfeits.
in the Arc scene where he judo flips a guy onto a car, and you're like, that guy's not getting up at all. Another guy.
And I just I don't know how a director can coordinate through that amount of chaos.
Right?
For sure, it's just like months of planning just for that one scene.
Yeah,
And they did that. They did that whole like one take.
with the dragon, what we call that, the dragon fire scene,
The Dragon's Breath.
Dragon's Breath, the Hotline Miami sequence.
Fuck yeah! Because I loved using that thing, even though it's a war crime. I love using that thing in Black Ops, and now I get to see it in John Wick, and you see how effective and scary it is. Dude, it's white phosphorus.
Right? And a gun.
Being sprayed at, and a gun with a piece of hot metal going in you.
There's one guy, John sets on fire, and he runs across. You can't see him, but he runs to the other room, and he gets blasted again.
I love that. I love that like Hotline Miami scene where you see John just going at it
Yeah.
with a dragon's breath, and you see like the one guy he shoots, and you see him leave the room, and then he goes into another room, and the guy comes back.
Just the unluckiest man in the world.
Yeah, I don't ever want to taste dragon's breath twice.
Right?
I don't even want to taste it once. Like, but that scene was so cool, and then Mr. Nobody's there as well.
Yeah.
And, dude, well, that one take of him pulling up a flak jacket from his backpack and putting it on was the coolest shit ever.
Like, this guy is cool. It's the definition of cool.
Yeah, I was like, wow. I was like, I wanna do that.
Right?
Like, I need that utility backpack.
Same here. And like John and him make good because John saves his dog and he's like, I guess we're good now. But John has to run away. So the way he runs away is like breaking through a window and just landing on the van and landing on the ground outside the building, and you're like, Keanu Reeves is insane.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he didn't do it himself, but like the character of John Wick, I'm like, dear God, nothing stops this man.
Right?
Like I like the man will have. I'm kind. Okay, yes. The spoiler is he dies at the end. I am glad he dies in the end, because imagine the arthritis once he hits like 60, like all of his joints are just, his ligaments are just stiff.
Right?
He can't bend his knees. But yeah, like they're like, hey, you got 3 minutes. And like the Marquis is a piece of shit, and he's making me fight you. By the way, that was another thing. You could choose a champion who to fight. It was supposed to be the Marquis and John Wick, but Marquis can choose a champion, and he chose Kane, which is his best friend.
Yeah.
So Kane is as equally as pissed at that decision. They were like, "That's not the deal. You just told me to hunt him down."
Right? And the stairs where you think John is safe at the top, but like the Marquis' right hand just kicks him down to the bottom, and you're like, Jesus Christ. John.
Yeah, and he was like, "Oh, you got 3 minutes." I was like, "This did not take 3 minutes."
You're just like watching Keanu Reeves go down these stairs, you're like, this guy's insane.
Yeah, and then you just see like Donnie Yen popping off and just like feeling where to go, where's the next step, and just shooting a guy to it like out of nowhere. I was like, how does he do that?
Right? I do love how they dispatch of the right hand of Mr. Nobody, where the right hand of the Marquis, where Mr. Nobody's like nuts, and he just gets mauled for like a few seconds, and then gets,
And then like he just ends him.
yeah. Then they make it to the stairs, prepare to duel, and the Marquis tells Kane like, remember your daughter. He's like, fuck off. You're like, oh, okay. This guy's really pissed. I love that. Honestly.
I love that scene so much because the Marquis was like, remember who you work for. It's like, fuck you. Like he doesn't care anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that scene. And like you see Mr. Nobody is like, they made it to the top. Who knew?
Right? And then they have their duel when you think Kane gets the better of John Wick, and you're like, this can't be how it ends. And the Marquis is like, alright, I claim the coup de grace for myself. And Winston's like, you idiot. He didn't even fire his bullet. He's like, oh, fuck.
Oh shit!
Ah.
Bang. Yeah, like Marquis dies, Kane lives,
John is
and
free.
John is free.
Yeah.
But it is a bittersweet moment because yes, the hero that we've loved ever since 2014, for what, almost 10 years, has finally come to an end. Where
Yeah.
he dies on the steps in Paris and just looks at the sunset. Even Mr. Nobody, not even seeing the scene, kind of knows what happens
Yeah.
while he's drinking his beer. I
Yeah.
don't know where he got it from. But yeah,
In his backpack.
John Wick dies. Sorry?
In his backpack. It's bulletproof.
I guess, but like it's all shooken up.
This can be. But yeah, John Wick dies, and Winston says goodbyes to his son, and you're like, it's a perfect ending. Honestly.
Yeah.
Honestly, 2023 has seen two heroes, one being Adonis Creed and John Wick being the second. Just hang up the boots and just end in a proper way. You're just like, you know what? I'll accept these endings.
Yeah. Like this is probably the best way for him to retire. We can't have him. We never get to see his Mustang again, but like.
Yeah. I guess John Leguizamo gets to keep it forever.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Like probably it's in his will. Who knows?
Probably.
But yeah, he gets married with his wife. It says loving husband now.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a sad moment, but you can't really see him living on.
Right?
Like, again, arthritis. Like, But yeah, again, very sense.
Yeah, but it may be the end of John Wick, but it's not the end of the universe because Ballerina is next year, and it stars Ana de Armas as the main character. I think Keanu Reeves has a cameo in it. Or
Oh,
maybe
that's it. Oh, so it's before.
I
It's
gue-
probably before
Yeah.
like 1.
yeah, maybe we'll get to see Prime Baba Yaga. Who knows?
I'll see that.
Yeah, but yeah, what would you rate John Wick 4?
Ah. I don't know. Oh, I did enjoy this film. It is tiring at some points, but it was fun. And I don't have a lot of complaints, as you've seen, like, well, except for that nunchuck scene. I hated that scene. Not gonna lie.
Really?
Yeah, it was a little too long-winded.
Yeah, even Keanu
In-
Reeves
in-
said he got frustrated.
Yeah, with the nunchuck scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see what. But good job, Keanu. But I would say this is a perfect send-off. It is one of the best action movies so far, with an amazing story, and that is not a comic book movie. With an amazing story, an amazing universe that got us all invested, and now we're getting a lot of spin-offs. When it all started with a guy and his dog dies, and he gets mad. That's how it fucking starts. And then it just rabbit holes into this amazing journey that we get with this one guy. And I guess it's in a span of like
A few days?
year? A few days?
Yeah, or like a
Almost a full
week.
year.
A couple of weeks in my... I think so. Because they're like, oh, 2 happened last week. And you're like, last week? The fuck?
Jesus.
Sorry, the 2 happened yesterday. And you're like, right, yesterday. And 3 happens, I guess, at least a week after.
Yeah, that's like he had to like recuperate.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like that shit's crazy. You know, like it's in a span of like let's say a month, and we get this amazing fucking story, and I love it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I would say it's a good send off for Keanu Reeves' character. Will be a household name now,
Yeah.
which is John Wick. 10 out of 10, in my opinion. One of my favorite movie franchises. And will I watch it again? Yes. I'll watch the entire series today. The
Same
entire franchise again, sorry.
To steal your quote from Across the Spider-Verse, like, this movie needs to know its place, and its place is on the top of this year, apparently. So yeah, I'll give this a 10 out of 10. Just an amazing send-off to a legendary character that, like you said, will definitely become a household name from years to come. Of like, oh, I grew up in 2014 watching John Wick, and it ended in 2023. This is an amazing saga. I don't know what else to say other than that. This is one of Keanu Reeves. No, this is his best franchise in my opinion. Because I'm like, The Matrix, that didn't end too well.
No, like with the Matrix, it's like it was great, and then it was just downhill. This one just went straight, like it knew its trajectory and just stayed on the course.
Yeah. But yeah, both 10 out of 10s. What else can we say other than that? This is one of the best, if not the best movie of the year, in our opinions. But yeah, what's your favorite entry of the John Wick franchise? Is it 1, 2, 3, or is it this one? If you want to see more of us, please like our videos, subscribe to the channel, and ding the bell icon to get notified of when we upload next. We're also on Spotify and TikTok. TikTok to see our best and funniest moments, and Spotify to hear us on the go. Individually, I am on TikTok as Zoe Does Voices. So if you're interested in seeing me or hearing me do voices, the link's down below. Where can they find you?
Oh, you can find me at JohnGOM_ on Instagram. It is my art account.
And until the next one, we'll see you then. Bye, everybody.
Ciao.